Okay, so let's take a look at our unit circle in terms of radians now. We put in all the degrees, but let's see. Um, First of all, I want to take a look at these four down here. Okay, because those are our quadrant angles. And so I always put the X and the Y axis in, it just helps everything. So of course this would be my 0 degrees, and straight up is 90 degrees, that's my right angle, and then 180 degrees, and then 270 degrees. So these are the quadrant angles. Well, if you think about it, if you start at 0 and you go all the way around, that's the same as 2 pi, because the circumference equals 2 pi times the radius, and on a unit circle, because this is the point 1, 0, the radius is 1. So it'd be 2 pi times 1. So the circumference is 2 pi. And if you think about a skateboard, if you go in a complete circle, that's the same as 360 degrees. If you go halfway, then it's 1 pi. So 180 degrees is 1 pi. So if you go halfway around, you get 1 pi. If you go all the way around, it's 2 pi. Okay, so let's suppose we did just 45 degrees. Okay, so I'll put that right here. I got my X and my Y axis. I'm starting at 0. 45 degrees is going to be halfway up. 45 degrees to 90, okay? Well, if you think about it in terms of pi, this is half of pi, straight up. And this would be half of pi, 1 whole pi, and then below would be 3 pi over 2, which is 3 halves, and then this would be 4 halves, or 2 pi. So if you think of 90 degrees as pi over 2, and then 180 degrees is pi, 270 degrees is 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. Then those are our quadrant angles in terms of pi. And then this is exactly how many radians, not exactly, that's the rounded off how many radians it is. So if you went up to pi over 2, I'm leaving that 45 degrees alone for a little bit. Pi over 2 is right here. So if I started here and I went up to pi over 2, that's going to be about 1.57 radians. And if you remember, the radian is the length of the radius. So it's going to be about 1.5 radians to get up here. But we don't want to use 1.571. We want to just say pi over 2. So a straight up angle at 90 degrees is pi over 2 radians. If you go all the way over, you get pi, and that's about 3.14. And that's rounded off. We don't want to round off, we want exact. If you go all the way, starting at 0, go all the way down to 270 degrees, that's going to be 3 pi over 2. So half a pi, that's 1.5 pi's. And that's really 4.712 radians. So, but after you get past 3.14, down here, you're at 4.17 radians. So sorry, 71 radians, or, rounded off to 5 crudely. And then if you went to all the way around to 2 pi, there's your 6.28, or 2 pi. Okay, so now let's look at 45 degrees. 45 degrees is right here. Well, that's going to be 1/4 of pi, because as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 fourths. So this would be 45 degrees going to be 1/4, or pi over 4. And up here would be 2/4, which is 2 pi over 4, but we reduce that to pi over 2. And over here will be 3/4, which is 3 pi over 4. And then this would be 4/4. Well, guess what? We keep going. So this would be 5/4. This would be 6/4, but we don't care about that because it reduces to 3 pi over 2. And this would be 7/4. And this would be 8/4, but we don't care about that because we reduces to 2 pi. So here, over here, let me just kind of make some color, small color. Okay, so here we have 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. Those are the quadrant angles. Well, here we have pi over 4, and 3 pi over 4, and 5 pi over 4, and 7 pi over 4. So these are half of our very important angles. These are the fourths, and then the quadrant angles. All right, and we'll put these on our unit circle. Now I'm going to erase this one over here because I want to do the thirds. Okay. I'll go back to this guy. Okay, so if I have this, and I always have to have my quadrant angles there. So this is 0. This is going to be pi over 2 now, 90 degrees. This is going to be pi, or 180 degrees. This is 3 pi over 2, or 270 degrees. You want to memorize these. And this, of course, is 2 pi, or 360 degrees. And that was 90. Okay, so now let's go to thirds. So if we take a whole pi and we cut it into 3, we're going to have 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. So 1/3 is going to be pi over 3, and that's actually at 60 degrees right here. 2/3 would be 2 pi over 3. 3/3 is 3 pi over 3, but that's the same as pi, so we don't really care about that. 4/3 is 4 pi over 3. 5/3 is 5 pi over 3. And then 6/3 would be 2 pi. So these are our, wait, let's do it in yellow. These are our thirds. Up high, down low. Okay, now if we cut a third in half, we get a sixth. If we cut 60 degrees in half, we get 30 degrees, and that's right here. And that's 1/6 of pi. And this would be 2/6 of pi. We don't want that. And this would be 3/6. And this would be 4/6. But this one is 5/6, or 5 pi over 6. And we do want that. 6/6 is pi. This one we need right here. I'm going to get rid of this 3 pi over 3. And this would be 7 pi over 6. And this would be 8 pi over 6, 9 pi over 6, 10 pi over 6. But what we really want is the 11 pi over 6. And so those would be our sixths. And that's this one, this one, this one, and this one. So we would have fourths over here. And I guess I could use a different color just to accentuate that. So these are the fourths. And then we have our sixths in yellow over here, our thirds in yellow, and our sixths in pink. And then, of course, the quadrant angles. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is have you